We're live.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
Hello.
Steve, say Happy New Year. Patrick, say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's Patrick with Light Source Engraving.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's Steve, the hobo with wood, down there.
And there's Rich, the Louisiana Hobby Guy. And we are
the Laser Maker's Realm. And I am feeling better, although I will have to mute through this. I'm just getting over everything. I still don't even remember the last live stream, but feeling better today. Infections are pretty much gone, and hopefully I'll be back in business pretty soon.
Well, you're feeling better, and I look good enough for the both of us, so we're in good shape.
So, Patrick, tell us what you've been doing since New Year. How was your New Year, by the way?
I was up late doing a live stream.
Oh,
I know that. You were up until after midnight. I know that.
Yeah.
I saw that on my stream.
Yeah, I streamed for 2 years in a row.
2 years? Yeah, a whole year. Steve, what have you been doing down there? I know you've. I think you've done a couple of live streams, right? Since the New Year?
I'm kind of taking a page from the Clack Shack. He does every time you turn around, he's live, and he's not always doing anything. Sometimes he's just in the shop,
just hanging out in the shop.
Hey, how you doing? And it's a good stream.
Yeah.
And I ran into a headache, a big headache in mid-December, where I lost all of my recordings twice in a row trying to edit and put a video together. And I said, heck with it. I'm going live. I'm not going to record this again. And since doing that, I'm like, hey, this is a whole lot less work than recording and editing and post-production and all that stuff. So I've done quite a few lives. And
you're right. I never thought of that.
It really is a lot less work.
It is a lot less.
Yeah.
And I went to bed early on New Year's Eve thinking it's just another day. And
for me too, it was.
Yeah, the neighbors, though, woke me up with their fireworks, their black cannons, and their small arms fire. So I turned on and hung out with Patrick until Patrick called it a night. So it was a good New Year's.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was still sick on New Year's. I did go out for the fireworks. We have an incredible fireworks display here. People spend thousands and I don't know why they spend thousands and thousands of dollars on fireworks, and it goes from the day before until the day after. But I did spend most of my New Year in bed. But tonight, folks, we've got something a little bit different than we usually do. We have got a guest in the house, and as you can see by the hat that I'm wearing here, we have got the head of tech support from AlgoLaser, and he was kind enough to send us out a few lasers so that we can test. But that's not really why we're having him on the program today. We're having him on the program because he is what I call the guru of G-code. And there have been so many times over the last few years. I'm talking about Gil Araújo. He used to be with Ortur, and there were so many times during the last few years that he and I have had to get together and work things out. And usually, before I even can get a question out, he has got an answer to that question. So
he's part psychic.
He's part psychic. That's for sure. So without further ado, we are going to bring in our guest for tonight, who is going to be talking all things G-code, and he has now moved to AlgoLaser with Jason Tan, who was one of the originators of Ortur. They've started a new company, and we're going to bring him on tonight and answer any and all of your G-code questions. So with that said, I would like to say hello to, all the way from Portugal, to Gil Aguero. Hello, Gil. How are you tonight?
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello,
How's
sir.
everyone doing? Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Doing well. Our pleasure. Thank you for being here tonight. By the way, if you guys don't know, it is like 3:05 a.m. in Portugal, I think.
2:05
a.m. So
2:05 yeah.
we're keeping Gil up very late into the night here. So
it's a pleasure. No problem at all.
We're happy to have you on tonight. And what we would want to ask of the audience is, what G-code questions do you have? And Jill was kind enough to send an alpha laser to Patrick, and he sent a delta laser, a 22-watt delta, to Steve. And are both of them 22 watts, Joe?
Yes, both of them are 22 watts.
They're both 22 watts. So we're going to take the next hour or so and see if you have any questions for Jill, who is, like I said, the guru of G-code. And we're also going to, Patrick and Steve are going to demonstrate both the alpha and the delta laser. And then we're also going to talk about something new that AlgoLaser has, which is a DIY kit for those of you that are into DIYing. But we're not going to do that right now. I'm going to try and get through the comments and let Steve and Patrick get set up and run their jobs to show you examples of how this laser does.
Yep. I just wanted to tell Jill that it was a pleasure meeting you at LightBurn. We all got to meet him at the LightBurn experience, and
likewise,
heck of a guy. And thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys. LightBurn experience was good. It was very good.
Well, the hamburgers weren't too bad either.
Yeah, true.
We went to a burger joint on the river in Illinois, and had a nice lunch and spent the whole weekend together. Jill came in from Portugal for LBX.
Yep. It was an experience for sure.
So if you guys want to get started, I'm going to start going through the comments here and see everything that we got going on. Good evening to Patrick from
hi, Jeremy.
I can't never remember Jeremy's name.
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy, yeah.
That's right. It's Jeremy.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry. I see Jerry's here from 3DHP. Hi, Dave from Florida. And Terry from Wellington, New Zealand. Okay. We've got Greg here. Steve, if you want to get started on your project, hopefully we'll get down to some G-code questions as we go. If not, I've got some questions for Jill. All right, let's see. Northeast Chile, Ohio. I'm glad I'm not up there. Nipa saying hello. South Mississippi. Howdy, neighbor. Bob is ready with his popcorn. We got Amber from Illinois. Hello, Amber. Happy New Year, Mike. Good to see you here. Happy New Year, Mike. 2 Mikes. I want to try and keep up with the comments tonight because that's what this video is going to be about. And Steve has got his glasses on.
Yeah, buddy.
That would be one suggestion that I would make to AlgoLaser is consider doing an enclosure.
Or better glasses.
Or
more comfortable glasses, yes. We have something in the books for this year, so we can discuss that at some point in the future. But yes, that's something that is coming.
And Andy is here from Atlanta. Happy New Year to Dave. Roger from another Illinois, Northern Illinois. Good evening to Jack. Central Kentucky. Hello, Larry. Carl, good to see you here. Carl's just about everywhere lately on all of the live streams. Hobo, you know that moonshine will make you blind. Hee hee.
Yeah,
Paul Riley.
Only if you consume it in great content. And those are 3 full bottles.
Bennett's Woodwork says he's glad I'm feeling better. I'm glad I'm feeling better too, because this has been starting from 2 weeks ago with spraining my back, and then the blood poisoning, and then the COVID, and then the esophagus infection, and the nasal infection. I mean, it's been one thing after another. Richard from East Tennessee, good to see you here. Steve's been busy this week. Yes, he has. I haven't gotten a chance to watch any of them because I've been spending most of my time in bed, but I'm hoping that next week I'll catch up.
And Rich, you know how long my recorded videos can be.
Yeah.
And I look up in the live stream and it's 2 hours. I'm like, holy smoke.
Sometimes I watch Steve's video and I feel like hitting him over the head with my little hammer because I'm still sitting there after 45 minutes. But they're enjoyable, and the thing is that you sort of get hooked on them because you have to see what's coming next, and you have to see what mistakes he's going to fix, and so on and so on and so on.
and all kinds of surprises in them.
Hopefully, mine are entertaining enough.
Yeah, well, I love the ending.
People like to see the fiber run on live streams.
I love the endings. So Jack is a neighbor of Steve's. He started to do a live today, but just recorded another project. Let me switch over to one of these. Let me see. I think I'm going to go to the alpha first. So there is the alpha laser. Is that the alpha? Yes, it is.
Yep.
We're going to do that one first. Hey, Pop. Good to see you here. Hi, Al. Welcome.
I'm running that at 15,000 and line space of 0.125 and 80% power, I think.
Awesome. V Swan is here, and she says hello to Jill.
Hello.
And Jay is here from Oklahoma. Jerry, he is in Portugal. He's only pretending to be here. And Dennis is here from Indiana. Hi, Dennis. And Jeremy is saying hello to Jill from HTL Hosters.
Hello.
They can't see you right now, Jill, but Jill says hello. And I want to say welcome to Tom Cowley. He is our newest member. And Lasers and More is saying hello to Jill. And let's see. Pop says hello to V. And Tom Cowley, $10 donation with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Tom. All donations to the live stream go straight to the guys so that they can buy more supplies so that we can do more live streams. And I'm going to switch over to the Delta. Steve, what are you running there?
I am replicating the label off of this bottle, and I'm doing it kind of slower. I'm running a crosshatch. That's the reason I'm a little bit slower and a little bit lower power, but I'm doing 7,000 millimeters a minute at 50% power, but on a crosshatch and at a 0.08 line interval. So it's, I'm doing a crosshatch and a much tighter line interval. That's the reason I'm going with a little bit lower power.
Awesome.
And then followed up with a line after fill.
I sped mine up and widened up the line spacing to shorten the burn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his was going to be here. We were going to be here another hour.
Yeah, because it's going to be the full height of that 12 by 12.
Dave, what kind of cheat sheet are you asking for? Are you asking for a G-code cheat sheet? because there are several of them on the internet where you can get the entire. You can download the entire PDF for the G code. Amber is here from East. Oh, she's saying Burger Barge in East Peoria. No, I don't think. I think it was Steak and Shake or something like that.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yep.
And Dennis is here from New Albany, Indiana. Welcome, Dennis. And Lewis is one of our regular supporters. Thank you, Lewis, for that $10 super sticker.
Hey, Rich, check the private chat real quick.
Okay. And thank you to Andrew Hone, who made a $25 donation. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate that. Carl saying hi from sunny Florida. He wants to rub it into everybody across the country. And ET Laserworks, Michael is here from Dandridge, Tennessee.
And while you're mentioning those you can't see, Rich, Chuck Wheeler, as always, faithful supporter, also contributed on Zelle.
Awesome. Yep. Chuck is our regular every live stream. Thank you so much, Chuck. I'm just going to pop through these and try and get down to the bottom and see if we get to any G code. We don't want to spend the whole night doing these unless they're G code questions.
I did see one G code question so far.
There it is. So my question for Gil is more of a general question. I would ask his opinion on the future of diode lasers, drawing from his industry experience. I'm guessing the future of the control boards, probably. Do you see any changes moving from G code to a different controller for diodes?
Yes, I think one of the biggest problems that the laser engravers have now is the firmware, Gerbil, has reached its limits, most likely. There's a few tricks that most companies are doing. AlgoLaser is doing a few more. But the firmware itself is like trying to run a modern computer with Windows 3.11. So there will be a need to improve the firmware, to improve the software itself. And then basically the controllers are getting more and more and more powerful. So there will be a lot of things that can be done inside the machine. So
Ronnie is asking Jill, what is it that makes the AlgoLaser different from your competitors?
I would say, firstly, it's the mindset. We are building the ecosystem first and the machine second. This means that if you buy a machine today, in 5 years, everything we put out in terms of upgrades will be backwards compatible. And we are going to do a big push in the software side of things, improving the firmware, bring more, I would not call it AI, but AI-like functions inside the firmware itself that could help prevent silly mistakes, help the users with tasks like centering, small things like that make life easier instead of having to learn how to do it on LightBurn or other software, it inside the machine.
All right. And Dave has a statement and a question from Australia. After changing the home position to the top right, but leaving the original bottom left, I have reverse steppers as need be, but from home, the laser wants to head northeast.
Yes,
if you jog the machine off home, it does not crash. It only crashes from home. How can I stop this? He's done G2, L2, P1X. You can see it on the screen there.
I think the problem is you would have to rewrite the firmware so your homing position is different, because if you try to have it in absolute coordinates and negative coordinates like that, it will always try to go to 0, 0,
right,
and will always crash. So
Right.
it would need to be a bit of firmware trickery. It should be done, doable, but needs to be a new
It would need
firmware.
to be done in the machine settings, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not completely familiar with the machine settings, you'd have to reverse some pins in there in order to get that done. And I can't say off the top of my head, but if I had the machine settings up in front of me, I could tell you which pins need to be reversed.
Not every single machine exposes all the settings on the ohming side. So
Right.
maybe some settings need to be redone and the firmware written again.
Right. So Pebbles is saying, Jill, thank you for taking the time to join us and answer our questions at 2:00 in the morning.
No problem. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So it looks like Steve with the Delta has finished his job. I'm going to bring him up to full screen.
Yeah, I failed to turn on the crosshatch like I intended to.
Oh, okay. Well,
But-
before you pick it up and move it, you can. Never mind.
It looks good. It turned out a little better than I thought it was going to. I'm still playing with the actual artwork, and because I've not gotten an actual file from the vendor yet. So I did a photograph and traced it, and so it's not perfect, and it's causing some irregularities, but the engraving turned out nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get that on this camera. We'll switch.
Well, a lot of people don't know that. Let's see the close up on it.
Nice.
And I don't have that great camera like you guys have got. Trying to focus it, but
That's good.
But yeah,
Nice.
and I did an offset, and it's get the brush out of the way, focus, and I could have done a little better with the power because the offset doesn't show up quite like I want it to on the letters.
Right.
But that's not a misstep on the laser. That's an offset to show a three-dimensional laser. Or
Right. I can. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
I didn't do it on the number 01,
Mm-hmm.
but across the. But still getting it all dialed in. This is only about the fourth time I've cut this.
And Jill, Greg says, thank you for your help in getting his issue resolved with Ortur. It's very much appreciated.
My pleasure as well.
And let's see. Midnight Sun Woodwork is saying, I am having trouble with leather. The numbers burn through, but no marks when using the fill mode on a material test using the JTech 40-watt laser. You just have to lower your power, I would guess. The numbers burn through, but no marks when using the fill mode. Check your LPI. Check your power. Fill and line are going to have two different effects. You have to run two different material tests on those. Why can't they make a camera that will allow you to see what you previously engraved on something? I think all the cameras do allow that.
And LightBurn.
Yeah, if it's a LightBurn camera, it does.
Although there's also some new hardware that came out that also does it. I forgot the name of the camera. Laser cam.
Oh yes, laser cam. Yeah. In fact, I have one here.
I have one too in a box. I had no time to open it.
I haven't unboxed mine either. Chris says he wishes that there was more access to all Gerbil settings, but understand there's a difference between all of the Gerbil settings and all of the manufacturer settings. So not all manufacturers use or allow access to all of the Gerbil settings in the firmware on the control board for a reason. So I'm sure Jill will agree with me on that.
Yeah, some are explicit but not visible, and if you know they are there, you can change them. Others are not, are just placeholders. That I know our software has like 50 settings that are just for our own use, as nothing else as storage of information. So I think everything that should be user changeable should be available for changing and documented as well.
Okay, and Pop is saying, what brand lasers are we getting help with? This is Steve and Patrick are using the AlgoLaser, which is a new brand. It's a new company that's only about 8 or 9 months old.
Yep.
Jill.
Yep.
And both Jason Tan and Gil Araújo were the starters of Ortur a few years back, in like 3.5, 4 years ago, and they have left Ortur and started their own company. Jill, did you want to explain to them why you and Jason, the founder of Ortur, why you and Jason left Ortur to start your own company? Because I think that's important when considering whether or not you want to buy an AlgoLaser. And
sure, I can explain. I will preface this just to say that I am not speaking in the name of Ortur in any way, shape, or form, because I no longer work there. But it was something that happens in companies very often. The Ortur had 3-4 shareholders. Everything went very well until 2022. COVID was kind of difficult. The shareholders did not agree on the future of the company, where to go, let's put it that way. And basically, some shareholders decided to go in one direction, and some decided to go in a different direction. So basically, and it's Justin, not Jason, it's Justin.
Justin, I'm sorry, I keep saying Jason. Everybody's Jason in China.
Yeah. Now, Justin decided that he would prefer to leave the company that he founded and pursue his own vision of what the company should be.
And that's basically concerning having appropriate support for the laser.
Appropriate support and basically
R&D.
The bottom line was not the top priority. Let's put it that way. I think it's self-explanatory. Having a good support, having customers that actually receive parts when the warranties are necessary, having R&D that actually is doing something. So basically, Justin decided that he would be better off to start a new company where his vision is the majority. And at the moment, it was a mandatory that he would never sell more than 51% of the shares, so he would have full control of the company, right? Yeah. So, what happened is Justin decided to do this, and 90% of the company staff decided to follow him. So AlgoLaser was created just by this issue.
Awesome.
The top of the company decided to split. Basically, some went one direction, we went another. It was friendly as these things can be, but it was friendly. It's not a big.
All right. And Sherry is saying that she says, I was recommended on the Facebook page concerning settings. I got my new AlgoLaser 5-watt for Christmas. The recommendations were awesome. Cutting my first project now. So far, so good. Great to hear, Sherry.
Good, great. Anything? Just let me know.
Jill is one of the best in the business.
Thank you. You are being too kind, but thank you.
And thank you for watching, Sherry. We appreciate you being here. I've been dealing with Jill now since I want to say 3 or 3.5 years, maybe
20,
something like that.
Yeah, 2020s, maybe.
I was actually one of the first purchasers of the Ortur product before the LaserMaster 2. Most people don't realize there was a product before the LaserMaster 2 and before Ortur, as a matter of fact. When I do my videos in the shop next door in the office, you can see it hanging behind me off of a shelf. It's a cantilever style, 2.5 watts. I always thought it was a 0.5 watt, but Jill corrected me tonight. It's 2.5 watts. The spot size on it is about 0.05, and it did the most incredible engravings I've ever seen. That's what got me hooked on diode lasers. And then, of course, right after I got it, maybe a month later or so, or maybe not even, the LaserMaster 2 came out, and I bought that one, and I bought another one, So obviously, during my learning experience with Ortur, I did run into a few problems, and a lot of them were, user created, user error. I have been around lasers for about 30 years now. I keep saying 25, but it's actually about 30 now. I started with the CO2, a government surplus CO2 that I got at auction for almost nothing, and did very little with it until, you know, the late 2015, 2016, 2014, somewhere in there. And in 2019, I think it was, or it could have even been late 2018, was when I got that first cantilever style laser. Then after I started having a couple of issues because I didn't know anything about diode lasers, I would contact Ortur, and at first it was email, and this is the guy that would email me back. And since then we've worked, you know, on all kinds of things. Then they went to a ticketing system, and we got together on Facebook Messenger, and we worked together on a lot of issues with firmware and things like that. And he is the type of support person that if you talk to him in person, before you can get your question out, he's already answering it. So
thank you.
It's really interesting. I don't know where he got the experience for this from, but one thing for certain is that he certainly learned very quick everything that there is to know about G-code and diode lasers. And Gil, I've never said it, but I do want to thank you all these years for helping me with any of the issues I came up with, or my viewers came up with on the channel. He always had a solution. Thank you, Gil. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it, because to answer your question, the way you learn as a customer support is to speak with customers and to find their problems. And obviously some problems are a bit boring after you do 100 of them, but most problems that are challenging are the ones where you learn something new. So it is the interaction between me and the customer that teaches me how to do my job better. Let's put it that way.
And even on the new problems, I don't think I've ever waited more than 2 days for you to figure out a resolve. I don't think I've ever waited very long.
At times is also a matter of going back to the team and discuss with the team, and they have to figure out what's going on, and then explain it to me, so I can explain it to the end user. So yeah, for me is a challenge. I love these difficult challenges, and that's why I learn to do it as best as I can. Let's put it that way.
And we all appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Thad is saying, I have the Delta and wondered if there will be an extension kit in the works in the future, assuming that the Alpha extension will not work on the Delta. Will the Alpha extension work on the Delta, I guess, is the first question.
No, it will not.
Okay.
The Alpha as already in the market, already being sold extension kit. The Delta is a more complex machine because the frame was built to be much more rigid. Is a machine built with a custom frame. So we are going. Yes, we are going to. The Delta was to be a machine that you take out of the box, put on the table, and you are ready to go, and as all the bells and whistles. And it was not developed at first to be an extendable machine, or to be a machine that the user can tinker with. We are getting a lot of requests on expanding the Delta. We are going to do it. There will be some compatibility issues that we are going to work out to make the older Deltas be able to be extended. I would think middle of 2024 we will have that ready, alongside with the Delta that comes in a smaller box, because we are having some problems with shipping. The box of the Delta is very big, so we are working with that. Yes.
Okay, Bob, thank you so much for that $20 donation. Bob is saying thank you for taking the time, Gil, to answer the questions. He says, you're the man.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Going back to something that I mentioned earlier, I did know the answer to it, but I just posed the question, the statement that I think it should be included. But talking about the enclosure, now the Delta is probably one of the largest open gantry system lasers that I have, and I've got 5 different enclosures, and none of them fit that. So I do know, Jill, that we did talk at LBX, and you said there was something in R&D as far as an enclosure for the.
Yes. We have two types. One of them will be a soft padded enclosure like the ones that we've seen before. Not too expensive. It should be coming to the market before the Chinese New Year, so end of the month, the next 4 weeks. And we have also a more professional, more full metal, high grade enclosure that's coming more in the March. That one will be more for maybe business settings, someone that needs to comply with a bit more security. And maybe if you have a lot of people going around and you have to have something a bit more solid, that will be coming later on. But yes, the normal enclosure will become by the end of the month, probably maybe start of January. We will probably have also a version of Delta with a self-enclosed. We have a few prototypes. We don't have a due date yet, but it's something that's coming as well.
So the R&D department is working.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring Patrick up because his burn to, I'm going to bring him up in full screen while we keep talking. And his burn to learn is looks like it's getting down to the final layer. So
yes, it is.
Dave is saying, what is G-code? How does LightBurn interface with G-code? LightBurn is just a G-code sending program. So there are several different G-code senders that you can use. LightBurn is one of them. G-code is what operates the laser. Jill, I'll turn this over to you if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, think about G-code as the language that tells the machine how to go from X to Y, right? How to go from the start of the line to the end of the line. LightBurn and other programs like it simply generate and a simple instruction of G-code, just so it's easy to understand, is like go from X0 to X10 engraving at 100% power, something like that. That's one line of G-code. Basically what LightBurn does is converts an image in multiple lines of instructions that is G-code for the machine.
Okay, and think of it like a GPS in your car. In 500 feet, turn left. In 100 feet, turn right. It's telling the laser what to do step by step. Thousands and thousands of commands that it sends to the laser. Sometimes it'll send for a quarter of an inch of laser engraving, it might send 500 commands. So
yes,
it's very complex. But again, it's just a sending program. The software itself is a combination of different programs that allows you to create things and converts that into the code, that the language that the laser understands. And Thad says, thank you, Joe, for that.
No problem.
And it looks like Patrick's is done, just about finished, and cut out fine. See what you got, Patrick.
Yep, we are done.
That's looking good.
Of course, I had to do a burn to learn.
Of course.
So nice. I like the color of that with
greens.
Yep. Hold on. Let me make it focus. Anyway, put the light and then the outline from the line after fill. So that's not bad for a 0.125 line spacing.
Yeah.
Running really fast.
And I am told that...
And this is, let's see, 6 millimeter.
6 millimeter wood.
Yep. And that was cutting at 300 millimeters per minute.
So for those of you out there that have the Lasermatic, like I've got behind me, and the three of us all have one, I have been told that the modules on these AlgoLasers are coming from the Laser company in China. Coincidentally, it is the same technology that the Lasermatic uses. So
there is not some companies like to make it a big secret. For us, it's not a big secret. We found the best supplier of lasers in China, and we partnered them with them and let them do what they do best, and we done the other side.
And I'm going to comment on that. That Rolly Automation also found the best suppliers in China, and coincidentally, the two companies found the same company for their modules. So they do have a quality module. One of the things that I do like about the Delta series is that it has the little optical lens underneath that when it gets dirty, it'll light up a little red light and tell you to clean your lens. So that's a nice sensor to have on there, something that Rolly Automation is considering. And I do also like that it has the reminder for the air assist. It's got several features that are a little bit better that I've already recommended to Leo for the Lasermatic. So Gene is saying, which laser did Patrick use? He used the Delta, the Alpha, excuse me. But I'm pretty sure that the Alpha and the Delta have the same module, the same 22-watt module.
Yes, the module is the very same.
So, Jill, can you explain to us the difference between the Alpha and the Delta?
Right. So the Delta, like I said before, is almost built. I think you need to put 4 screws on it. Machine that comes ready in the box, that has LCD, as a very, very strong motherboard with 2 ESP32s, because it was built. It will be our flagship where all our software development will happen. So Delta is the flagship. It has everything, every sensor, everything you can imagine. It already has some features that the motherboard has are not yet fully developed in software. So the Alpha is the same machine, but on a diet, let's call it like that. It has the same power on the motherboard, but does not have the LCD, and the frame is slightly less complex.
And can you explain to the audience why the LCD doesn't compromise the operation of the control board? As I understand it, the LCD has its own processor and operates independently.
Yes, normally a motherboard for a controller of a machine like this has a CPU, let's call it like that, and basically processes everything, the software, the planner, and the movements. On the Delta, what we decided to do, because we wanted to also include the LCD and some functions like processing images inside the motherboard, we decided to add a second CPU. So the motherboard has 2 completely different CPUs, one just to do the G-code things, and one CPU just to do the LCD and all the image processing. So even if we throw a lot of work at the LCD, it should have no impact at all on the function of the machine.
Awesome. Sherry is asking, does Algo plan to have a program like LightBurn? I'm not sure what this question means. Any of you guys understand?
Basically, like a software like Xtool has or other companies, a proprietary software.
Proprietary software. Okay.
Not yet. We have something that we are testing. I can say this much. I'm not sure if it will be good enough to be something that you can call a competitor to LightBurn.
Yeah, I don't think there are any competitors to LightBurn, and if I created a laser, I would not even think about making my own software.
Yes, and it would be a bit redundant, and in my honest opinion, a bit of waste of R&D time. But that's my opinion, right? We have a phone app, which is basic. It allows you to do some basic.
It worked. When I
Yeah,
tested it, it worked.
yeah,
Which
it
is more
works.
than you could say for a lot of the other companies.
Oh yeah, sure. No, it works. We are trying to do something similar on the PC side, PC, Mac, and Linux, but something that is out of the box, understood to be a basic software, nothing compared to LightBurn or anything like that. But yes, something a small software is coming that will be for very, very basic functions.
Okay. And Dennis is asking, he says, I have a honeycomb, a different size than the laser engraver. Do you use a setting in LightBurn for the honeycomb size or laser size for the origin placement? Well, go ahead, Jill. I'll let you answer that.
We discussed that, but no, at the moment there's not a way of tell the machine what type of honeycomb it has. So basically, you would have to or do a self-alignment where you put your own honeycomb in and you decide where the 00 is, or you don't use the honeycomb as a ruler, let's say like.
Right. And I have a video on my channel, by the way, that talks about doing laser production on a grid. So in there, you can get an idea of how to do that. Basically, all you're going to do is take and put maybe a sheet of plywood underneath it, attach your laser to the plywood or cardboard or whatever you want to do, and draw a square the size of the work area of your honeycomb and run that in line mode. And then you can position your honeycomb on there and use that square that you made as a template, a guide, so that you know where to put your all of your work inside of LightBurn. You can right click on that square. First off, set it to a toolpath. After you've burned it, right click on it, lock it, and save it as a template. And if you're not going to move the honeycomb, even if you do move it, you still have the square that's burned on either the cardboard or the wood. You could always put it right back in there and open that template and work from there. It is actually, if you search my channel for production, you'll find that question. So Jill, I had another question for you as well. Being that you're a new company, what type of investment has been made into this company as far as equipment, materials, supplies, employees? What is a basic description of AlgoLaser and as far as size in production?
Well, for being a new company, we have some size because, like I said before, most of the Ortur staff decided to follow just analog to AlgoLaser. We are, and my numbers might be a bit off because I've been in China in June, and the numbers were like 120 people, 30 to 35 people on R&D, 30 people on sales, and the rest of the people would be divided between factory workers and HR and all that kind of function, right? So yes, the company has some significant size, and we have the luck, I think, that even though we departed from Ortur, a lot of experience that we learned there, we were able to now put it in place. Now we have the freedom to take all those mistakes that happened in the past and all those things that we learned. We were able to take them and actually convert them into change. And some things are silly that you would imagine that is difficult to implement but when the company gets a bit big, small changes take some time to do, right? So yes, the company is very healthy in terms of staff. We have more than enough people to continue to do what we want, and the advantage is people with a lot of experience, right? Because they came from 4 or 5 years of working with Ortur and managing. In my case, I know what I'm doing on support because I've done it on Ortur for a long time.
We all know that.
Yeah. So basically, the baggage we brought with us of experience now is working on AlgoLaser.
Awesome.
And again, like I said, it was a friendly departure, and they are going to do what they are going to do, which I'm not sure where it is. And AlgoLaser will pursue the innovation that we wanted to do in the past, but was not able to do it.
Awesome. Now, I did want to mention that I asked Jill to go to the company and ask them to give my viewers or our viewers a coupon code in case any of you people are interested in buying an AlgoLaser. So down on the bottom of the screen there, you'll see that if you go to algolaser.com and during the checkout, use the coupon code LMR for the Laser Makers Realm, LMR. For the next 3 days from today, you will get 10% off on your purchase. So now I did want to switch over to, I have more questions for you, Jill. So we're not going anywhere quite yet, but I wanted to switch over to Patrick now. And Patrick, I got you the alpha, or I should say, Jill sent me the alpha. I brought it to LBX with me and gave it to you. And you're now working with the alpha 22 watt. What are your honest impressions? Now, I know that he's here with us from the company, but he wants to know your honest opinion as well. So tell us your honest opinion of your experience so far with the AlgoLaser alpha.
The module is great. It has obviously, since it's the same company, it reminds me of using the Lasermatic 20 module. So the laser module does great engraving. I just have an issue, and I just had it again, where my line after fill is just a little off. And I tighten my belts. I just need to get that. If I can get that fixed, then I will have a very favorable opinion of the laser. I like the focus, how it has you.
Oh, that's cool.
You move a lever down, and then that unlocks the module, and then you slide a little lever, slide another lever down, and that's your focal stick basically. And then you drop it down, let it hit the material,
then hit the button,
flip the lever up, lock it in place, hit the button, and the focal stick retracts back up into the laser module. I think that's really cool. It's really easy, and I'm not losing a little focal gauge. So I really like that part.
That is a groundbreaking development in focal gauges. I have to say that. Yeah.
I really like that.
Getting back to what you just said, though, usually those problems, and Joe can either confirm or deny it. Usually those problems that you have with line after fill have to do with either the eccentric nuts or the belt tension. So
And then he discussed there's some newer firmware out that we could try. And on the case of Alpha, because it is the user has to build it, this might be a bit of square issue as well, but they are all interrelated in a way. Belt tension, squareness of the X versus the frame, and some firmware might be possible, because we launched a few revisions on the last 2 months, and firmware is always
on
evolving.
The Alpha.
For Alpha and the Delta, yes.
Okay.
For both.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, and I haven't updated the firmware, so I'll look into doing that. The cables are very thick and heavy, so I'm not worried about cables breaking. But I would wonder, are they a little too thick and heavy? But that's just for your engineers to think about.
That's because, like I said before, we build the ecosystem first, the machine second, because we have the 40 watts coming. It should come March. It will come a bit earlier, but for the Alpha in March. And we have a prototype for a 60, which I'm not sure if we are going to launch or not. But we wanted to not put the customer in the position where if he wants to upgrade, he will have to redo the wiring, because, these wires should be these motherboards, and again, things we learned from the past.
They are very thick and very well insulated, and you're not going to have a problem like the static buildup like with the Laser Master 2. things like that. I mean, it is some incredible wiring. And someone just asked the question earlier about, is there going to be an upgrade to the 22 watt that Jill just answered? Yes, they're in R&D right now for 40.
We have on the first quarter of 2024, we have the 40 watt module, and we also are coming with a 3 watt infrared. So for metals, so those will be the upgrades. And because we knew those were coming, we made the cabling. We made it strong enough to know that it will be no issue at all.
That's great to know. And one other thing that I found impressive was the ability to add modules and use the single port on the side that you had discussed. That any expansion that will just be handled by plugging it into laser and adding more of your modules.
Right.
Yeah, because this is something that we learned from the past. People always want to upgrade, which is good. It's great, but we need to think not to limit the machine to be upgraded. So everything that we are going to launch on the next 24, 36 months should be direct plug and play. Just plug and play without any problems at all.
Right. Okay. Yep. And Thad is asking a question: is it better to set the home location in LightBurn a few millimeters off 00 or let it home to the stops? Yeah, it's always better to let it. You can set it. It's not going to hurt anything by setting it a millimeter or two, or off the 00 position. But there's no reason to do that. That's the purpose of the homing switches, and you always want to make sure that your laser is homed, when you're starting a job. Yep. So that few millimeters that you have it off, if you lose a millimeter somewhere, that might throw off the job. It's always good to home the laser to the limit switches before you start a job. And now I'm going to ask Steve the same question. Steve has the Delta, and Steve is not, since he got the Lasermatic, he is not a fan of any other diode laser. But I'm going to ask him the same question. Steve, what are your first impressions of owning the Delta?
Well, first thing I would recommend, and this is to anybody who's going to use this coupon code to buy one of the laser that I have sitting here, which is the Delta, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's not printed on the box yet, but after this,
I learned my lesson.
Jill's going to go back to the manufacturer and say, guys, print on the box in great big red letters. Leave laser in the box for assembly.
Assemble in box.
It's in the instructions. It's in the manual.
Well, I didn't read the instructions, so
nobody does. They open the box, and they start pulling stuff out, and then they get the book out and look, oh crap, I was supposed to leave it in the box. So put that on the box, number one. Now, fortunately, Rich did stumble across that the hard way, and he told me.
Yes,
so I was able to assemble mine in the box, and it went together very easily. The one big thing, it's huge.
Yes,
it is massive, and to say that it's massive it's about 3 to 3.5 inches larger than the Falcon 2 from Creality, which is big. But if you don't think 3 or 3.5 inches matters, just ask somebody.
And Steve can tell you 3 or 3.5 inches matters.
It makes a big difference. In order for me to even get this on my table, I had to put some slats on top of the table and set the laser down on top of the slats because I don't have a table wide enough with vacancy to put it on. So
he got very DIY on this. I mean,
oh yeah, it's rigged like you wouldn't believe. But then the other thing, besides printing on that box, which is a huge, big thing you should do, leave it in the box. For the price point that it's coming to market, why doesn't it have a honeycomb? At least have the honeycomb with it. I can see not including the rotary because the rotary is an optional accessory in most of them. But right. you gotta have a honeycomb. And for this price point that you're selling it at, it should have a honeycomb with it. It's an impressive machine. It's a big machine. Now, I did a heads up comparison as soon as I got that out and got up and running. I did a job on the Delta, and then turned around and did the exact same job on the MK2. The Delta cut it out nice and clean with no chads, no hangers, no nothing. This one did not cut it out, but the Delta is a more powerful laser. It's a 22 watt.
I just want to say that I had the opposite experience. If you go and look at my Delta review, I did a direct comparison, and mine was the opposite. So,
and if you'd let me finish,
go ahead.
This is a heavily used machine, and it's been a couple of days since I've torn the laser module down and cleaned it. Now I've cleaned the whole unit, but it's been a couple of days since I cleaned the lens and all that. So that may have played a factor in the ability of it not cutting through where this did.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there is a place for open gantry machines, and it's not in my shop. I asked Patrick earlier today, I said, as a child growing up, did you play with erector sets or Lincoln logs? If you enjoyed playing with erector sets and Lincoln logs as a child, then open gantry systems are the thing for you. I did not see the point. I did not want to make my own toy. I wanted to play with one, not build one. And that's kind of how I see any open gantry machine. If I can't take it out of the box and start using it, like you mentioned a second ago, Jill, about the possibilities of Patrick's headaches, he had to assemble his. So it could be a little bit out of square. It could be belts. It could be a couple of things that could be related to his assembly of the product. And if you take a novice laser user who's not had any experience with lasers, and now they're set with having to build it, and they have a very poor outcome as a result of their assembly, that also reflects badly on the manufacturer, because if they don't take the time, they're just like, this don't work, and then it's aggravating, and they give up on it, and it's like, don't go buy that ABC laser. I like taking a ready to use machine out of the box, and if there are technical issues that revolve around my inability to make something happen, that's fine. But mechanical issues where the machine wasn't put together, it wasn't tested, it was assembled with preset specs to let the end user dial it in, I'm not a fan of that. I like a ready-made laser.
Yeah,
but print that on the box and include a honeycomb.
I agree with that. So, and Jill, I had another question for you about tech support. Obviously, you're the head of the tech support department. Tell us a little bit about what is involved in your department, how many employees you have, how you deliver the tech support, and what someone should expect if they do run into some issues along the way.
Right. So the simplest way to get in touch with us is just to write an email to support@algolaser.com. These emails are converted in a ticket, and at the moment we have 4 people in staff. Me and 3 people in China that are, one is trainee, so let's call it 3.5 people. And you should expect an answer in 6 to 7 hours, depending only if you fall in between the 2 time zones where maybe I'm off and they are not yet online. But most questions that we are having are, like Steve in a way said, are issues with assembly, that something was not done perfect, and we help the customer finalize that zone. Besides that, we expect to give the customer a solution in 24, 48 hours maximum, but an answer right away. Many times what happens is the initial interaction with the customer is just trying to understand what happened, because the customer might not know how to explain it, or how to diagnose it, or how to take a picture or something. So those first interactions, at times customers find it a bit annoying, and I understand when they ask them to take a picture or to take a video or something. But those little bits of information are hyper valuable, because at times a small video with a sound is all you need to understand what's going on with the machine, or have a good guess. So support at algolaser.com. It will fall in our ticketing system, and probably me or one of the other guys will be answering. And it's not everyone can answer everything. So I might answer now, and one of my colleagues might answer do the next answer. So anything that's needed there is support at algolaser.com.
Awesome. Sherry is asking if she can upgrade the laser from her current 5-watt to a 20-watt by swapping out the module.
Depends on the machine, but yes, the answer is yes. Depends on the machine, because the 20 watts should be only for the alpha or the kit machines.
Okay. And I did have a question for you, Jill. I noticed that in LBX, you showed me something different that I've never seen from any manufacturer before, and that is the DIY do-it-yourself kits. Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, contrary to Steve, there are a lot of people that buy machines, and they want the ability. I would call it almost like an open builds kind of thing, but not so much. They just want the ability to change the machine, to make it bigger, make it smaller, make it whatever they want. So we decided to create a product that would be basically this. Everything in the machine except the motherboard is off the shelf. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can build the machine any way you want. So the principle of our do-it-yourself kit machine is basically this. You buy the motherboard, it comes with a basic frame, it comes with the basic things you need to assemble the machine and have it ready. And if tomorrow you decide that you want to engrave 800 by 800, or you want to make it a small, so you can put it on your car or anything like that, you basically just need to buy the rails or buy new cables or buy something, and you can.
Those are the typical 2020.
Yes, 2020. You can convert it to a 2040. You can do basically whatever you want with it, and then just plug the AlgoLaser motherboard to it, and you can run any laser you want. You can run our lasers, obviously, but the wiring, everything is perfectly documented. So anyone with minimal skills, of course, can transform the basic machine in anything they want.
Right. So like what I did with the Laser Master 2, I turned it into a 4x8 sheet laser.
Exactly.
I'm looking at the DIY kit now, and so if it's $359 and then you have 10% off, you're looking at about $330 for a 10-watt laser with the DIY kit. That seems pretty reasonable, especially if you do like to tinker.
Yes, and the advantage, of course, is an entry-level machine for anyone that wants to start. Again, and I agree with Steve on this, is not the best machine for someone that never touched a laser engraver to start with.
Yeah.
It will be a bit of a learning curve. It will be a learning curve for sure. But anyone that knows exactly what they want, and they want an open system that they can mix and match parts from this machine with that machine, this brand or that brand, and they are not, they just want to build something they imagine, and they want to build it. This machine allows you to do anything you want.
Right. So I wanted to pick up on Sherry's last question. So is the 20-watt module available in a standalone upgrade all by itself?
The 22-watt module we have on the Delta and the Alpha can be bought on their own, but only to be plugged to the Delta and Alpha. We have a 2.5, 5, 10, and 20 watts that will be ready, and will be. The only difference to the 22 watts is they will not have those little lights on top, the smarts, but they will be not so expensive, and they will be available all 4 powers by the end of this month. So 2.5, 5, 10, and 20.
Awesome. Sherry has the 5-watt DIY kit.
Yes, it will be a plug and play. Take one off, plug the other.
She can get a 20 by the end of the month then.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
That's a cat.
That is a cat.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we've got most of what we wanted to get accomplished here tonight, and I am monitoring the comments. So if you have any more comments on the AlgoLaser, whether it's the Alpha or the Delta or the DIY kit, whatever it might be, now would be the time to answer it, because we are just about 10 minutes past the end of the scheduled stream. So there's a cat in your camera there, Patrick.
Yeah.
A black cat.
Rich, Jerry Cooper had a question back there that I would like to address. I don't know if you've seen it or missed it, but he asked why you would buy the Delta over the Rolly. And as I said in my comments, there's a place for an open gantry machine. It's not in my shop because that's not the type of work that I do, but I do have a job scheduled that I'm going to have to take my open gantry. I'm going to a remote location and I'm going to be doing like a 6-foot backsplash. And I couldn't do that with the MK2, but I could. It's a big machine. It's heavy. It's got the bottom. You got to take out a lot of the open gantry machine like the Delta. I can just take that thing, set it right on top of it. I'm still going to have to do the print and cut, but it's made for that. It's going to be a whole lot easier to do it with an open gantry machine.
Right.
And if I can add, I think I am a fan of Rolly as well, so much so that I have one coming for my own collection. But I think they are different purpose machines.
Yes.
Delta will be superior in terms of firmware and the ability of the LCD and all that. On the other hand, it has a drawback, of course, regarding the enclosure. The $300 or $400, I don't know what the difference is significant, but it's buying different things, right?
Yes.
And on laser engraver,
you'll see when you get the Lasermatic, you'll see the difference.
on every machine, there's always a compromise somewhere.
Yes.
There's not a single machine that will check all boxes. It would be nearly impossible. So I think they are different machines. I think anyone that decides to buy one or the other will not have a bad machine. They will be very good machines. Both of them, they are different purposes. They are different.
And Dave Dave from the Cloud Chat is saying that he likes the open machines as well. He has both. He has the Lasermatic, and he's got his own enclosure. And in fact, I haven't watched the video yet, but I did see the thumbnail. I think, Dave, you just changed lasers or upgraded the enclosure or something. I need to get out of my sick bed and start catching up on
one thing
video.
that won't be lacking if you buy an AlgoLaser is tech support. I mean, you can at least buy an AlgoLaser with the comfort that you are going to get genuine tech support and after sales support, that you're not going to have to worry about it. That's right. Comforting when you're making a purchase like that. So
that's right. Whether you're going to buy the AlgoLaser or the
versus
Lasermatic.
any other open gantry out there, this is where the tech support's going to be.
There is no other open gantry system on the market, and there hasn't been, that provides except for Ortur, that provides the tech support that you might need down the road. None. So as far as tech support is concerned, Rolly Automation and AlgoLaser, being that Gil is working there, are going to be the only two laser companies that I know of that are going to provide the proper tech support. And I know a lot of people are going to say that big name and the big marketing company that sells their lasers has great tech support, but that's not the case. Their customers shut down a tech support help website that I had by the hundreds coming to me for tech support that they couldn't get from that company. So, and Dave is saying that Jill helped him fix a firmware crash. So that's good to know. Let's see. I have not, Thad is saying, I've not done any tumblers or cylinder shaped objects yet. I'm considering buying a rotary, but leaning toward a chuck style. Is there a chuck rotary from Algo in the works? That's for you, Joe.
Yes, March. I think March will be the month where all our pending products will launch. We have a few things that got a bit delayed. By the end of March, everything should be out and ready. We have a few nice, interesting things coming, but I cannot speak.
And Carl is saying, assembling a laser or a 3D printer, etc., helps you to know how to fix the problems as well as doing the upgrades. That's really a good point.
Yep, that's very valid.
I agree.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't
It is,
want-
but I also understand the people that want to buy it and use it. I understand both perspectives because
Yes.
I also am an end user, so I also have 3D printers and all this, and I like also to take it out of the box, put it on its place, and you never have to touch it again. But I understand that's not always possible, and even
Right.
I don't know, like
And-
the big
and-
3D printer, even those
I like-
sometimes need tinkering, right?
Yeah.
I like to do both. I like to take a laser out and set it on the counter, and then it works. But I also like to put them together in tinkers. So, I like to have one to tinker with and one that I just don't touch. Same
Yeah.
way with the 3D printers. I've got one that I don't touch, then I've got a couple that I tinker with and upgrade extruders and all that stuff. So,
Well, I think we've made it
just
perfectly
depends.
clear. I'm the laziest one out of the bunch. Okay? It's just cut and dry. I'm just lazy. Okay.
Okay, folks, we are 15 minutes past the end of the stream. So this is going to be last call for any questions that you might have, either AlgoLaser, it could be Lasermatic, could be any laser, or any questions that you might have about G-code. And we do have the guru of G-code with us here tonight, and I would take advantage of that. Well, I'm going to say we're going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we're going to bid our farewell.
And if someone thinks about something, they can just write to support@algolaser.com and put like for Gil, and I will read it for sure. And
so just put for Gil in the subject
Yeah.
line, and that will get forwarded to him. If you have any future questions, go ahead, Patrick.
I just have one question. What is the AlgoLaser screwdriver?
AlgoLaser screwdriver. One of and you assembled the alpha, so those Allen keys are not very useful.
Right.
They are not good. So it was a bit of a joke. We said, okay, we need to launch a screwdriver, something electric to help the users, and a joke became a product. But basically, the high quality electronic USB powered screwdriver that you can use for assembling the machine, or just for, if you are a tinkerer, you will have all the bits that you need to assemble everything that you have at the shop. So
Yeah, I think I want one. Yeah.
yeah, it's very good.
What is that?
On the left side of your slider for the laser, you have a small screw that's like a locking screw that you can put through the dovetail. So if you want to move the laser very fast and you don't want to just trust the lever, you can put that through and it will lock the laser in place.
Okay, because I didn't see that mentioned anywhere in the assembly or the owner's manual. So you might look at that too.
Really? I need to look at that.
Yeah, because I was like, I got with the assembly, and I'm like, I hope that doesn't matter.
Bob is asking if you offer any online G-code classes. I don't think Jill has the time to do anything but support with being new to
But
a new company.
it would actually be a good idea to do a series, and maybe an idea for you guys as well, like a basics 101 short, kind of 3-4 minutes videos, also the basics. G-code is complex, but on this essence is quite simple. It can be read, but we can read it. So it could be an idea. I don't know if the company will.
I think the best place to start would be to Google G-code manual, and there is a PDF out there that gives you the code plus a full explanation
of what it does.
If not, you can download Laser Gerbil.
Mm-hmm.
And if you download Laser Gerbil, you can, excuse me, you can go to the settings in there, and it also has the explanation next to every G code. Mike is saying, Jill, thank you for coming on and answering the questions. Much success in your new business journey.
Thank you very much.
V says it's for your big laser glasses.
Here's my Elvis glasses, baby.
Andy says that he thinks that I should do a primer on G code. The reason why I usually don't talk about G code like you see on most of these forums and other things is because it can be used incorrectly. It can be dangerous. So there's a lot of people that talk about go to the console and type this and go to the console and type that. And I prefer not to do that. Usually when there's something like if you need a factory reset or something like that, I'm not going to tell you the command. It is an RST command. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if I see somebody is really struggling with something, there are a lot of commands that are not in the book that I'll contact the person personally, by email. I'll tell them to send me an email. But there are just a lot of things that the average user should not be playing with in the console. So, and doing a class on it, that's the reason you have a G-code sender program in the first place. And that's the reason you have the factory firmware on the control board, is so that you don't have to get involved in the G-code. So I think it's always better to leave certain things alone. And Carl is asking for Jill, can you change the frequency? So instead of using the typical 10,000 frequency, the $1.28, does it respond?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was going to shake my head yes, because it's the same laser manufacturer as Lasermatic. There are only a couple of lasers where you can.
Although the laser manufacturing is providing the optics, the electronics might be quite different between the Lasermatic and ours. It's possible. I don't know.
Yeah. So Jeremy's saying yes, no touchy the G code ever.
Yes, it's time and place, but like you said, some things should be under the hood, and we should not have to look at it. Yeah.
Right. So this is funny too. I got to put this up. Jeremy has trouble with a calculator. Okay, folks, we are at 1 hour and 22 minutes of a planned 1 hour live stream tonight. Jill, I want to thank you so much for taking the time at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning to join us for this special edition. And I want to thank Patrick over there and Steve down there for coming on our off week for the special edition. Don't forget, folks, that if you're interested in buying an open gantry system like the AlgoLaser, whether it's the Alpha, the Delta, or the DIY kit, down at the bottom of the screen right now, there is a coupon code for the next 3 days, not 6 days, 3 days, the next 3 days at algolaser.com. Use coupon code LMR and you'll get 10% off for the next 3 days. So live long and prosper, everyone. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. And any questions you guys ask, just send me an email, and I will be there.
Just put for Jill in the subject line, and he'll get it.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And
thank you.
Happy New Year again. I was sick for New Year, so I'm going to keep saying it for the next week or so. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.